We all know the incredibly popular and all-time favorite movie, The Lion King. This movie was released in 1994 and it still continues to be a big part of our culture even 20 years after its release. I mean, I remember hearing just recently about a Broadway performance of The Lion King. While watching TV, I still remember watching ads advertising Lion King Now in HD, Lion King Now in Blu-ray, and Lion King 10th Anniversary DVD. I mean, this movie has seen constant re-releases and parodies. As we all know, the Lion King storyline was modeled after the play Hamlet by William Shakespeare. If you didn't know this before, you should stop and think about it. They're pretty similar. Well, after that, I got to thinking, Hamlet isn't as popular in today's culture as The Lion King is, and the movie seemed way more lighthearted and trivial in comparison to the play. But just what exactly allowed this movie to be such a hit in our culture, and how did its impact affect our culture as well? I believe the first question's answers lie in the genius behind its medium. With no question, Hamlet is definitely related to the Lion King. I mean, Simba represents Hamlet, Scar mirrors Claudius, Mustafa imitates Hamlet's father. A while ago, as I watched the Lion King movie with Hamlet in mind, I was absolutely blown away. I mean, almost all of the movie was connected to Hamlet in some way. Safe to say, Hamlet was probably one of the inspirations for the movie itself. But I also remember reading Hamlet in my high school. I didn't remember Hamlet being nearly as enjoyable as watching the Lion King movie. Interestingly enough, I enjoyed and understood Lion King while I was in elementary school. I couldn't even read through one page of Hamlet in high school without having to consult the No Fear Sparks Note version of the text to fully understand what I read. From this experience, I contributed much of the Lion King's success to the genius of its adaptation. It absolutely allowed for a universal understanding of the morals and meaning behind the story, regardless of the age. And yes, I deeply believe that we should look towards some of the key components of its medium of adaptation for the story's success. Alright, to be very honest, I feel one of the reasons for the success of The Lion King was really because the story was told in a movie rather than a book. The idea behind this fact is that The Lion King was really tailored to fit into our modern culture. The fact that it was a film allowed for it to be digested easily into our society. Gavin gives a really good and really accurate, short, logical answer to this phenomenon. I mean, what he says is that films are our culture's version of storytelling. After further thinking, this answer makes sense. As a matter of fact, Hamlet wasn't just a piece of solid text either, but instead a play. Just as film is the storytelling of our generation, Elizabethan theater was the main form of entertainment and storytelling in Shakespeare's time. However, Shakespeare intended his audience to be mature adults, as noted by the maturity and complexity of the morals and human interactions of his work. The Lion King, by contrast, was diluted for an audience of all ages. So, it's no secret that all movies are not as popular as The Lion King. What made The Lion King so special? Besides the lighthearted feelings and a happy ending, I present to you the unfair advantage of the influence of cute animals, bright colors, and catchy songs. Everybody enjoys a sing-along. Personally, I sing in the car all the time. The songs Hakuna Matata and Can You Feel the Love Tonight were definitely big hits in that aspect. Adding on, visual effects goes a long way. I mean, take a look at the movie Avatar. It basically proved that visual effects are a big aspect in movies. It grossed an all-time record of $2 billion just because of its visual effects. Going back to The Lion King, everyone remembers the Pride Rock scene with baby Simba in the very beginning. Out of all the perks, though, the cute animals had to be the biggest hit for the kids who watched the movie. Aaron McNews, education coordinator of the Jewish Family Services of Cincinnati, explains that children had, from a very young age, found that animals are fascinating and tend to develop special bonds with them. On a scientific basis, Linda Accredolo, PhD in child psychology, tells us that a third of babies' first words are animals. Accredolo, in her baby science blog, further explains that the fascination of children with interesting noises and brightly colored objects. This fascination combination completely captivates a children's imagination and attention. Yet, I remember watching The Lion King way back in elementary school without even realizing the heavy morals and complexity of Simba's dilemma. Completely disguised as a child's movie, the heavy lessons within the film holds great potential in indirectly educating children. And now we come straight into the second part of the question. What messages or morals does The Lion King really show? Let's stop and think about one aspect of The Lion King's surroundings in depth. So one interesting fact popped out to me. Pride Rock's guy to girl ratio is just about opposite the text ratio. I mean, think about it. There are way more female lions than guy lions. Even more fascinating is the fact that the females lives all revolve around the males in the population. In many instances, the females are hunters and gatherers, while the males, who are clearly outnumbered in number and strength, dish out the commands. Scar commands the lionesses to hunt for food and explicitly tells female lions to try harder when there are clearly no food left. Scar is not the only guilty one here either. Simba also shows his bossy side by telling Nala to gather the lionesses when he plans to take Pride Rock from Scar. Throughout the movie, the female lions seem like servants who blindly follow the males, which brings me to my second point of the power differences between the two genders. Just because Simba and Scar are males, they get the magical ability to lead the other lionesses. If you stop and reason behind this power, the only credential Simba or Scar has is the physical characteristic that they are males. The females are helpless, without the males, while they clearly outnumber the males in strength and quantity. Logically, the lionesses could have easily overthrown Scar and kicked the other hyenas' butts, but they didn't, and instead rely on Simba's return, who they described as their only hope. Looking back at it as an adult, I'm surprised these hidden messages of male superiority and female inferiority remain mostly unnoticed by the general audience. For me, I'm worried about the children who actually watch this movie. Children learn gender roles by absorbing the culture around them. Because The Lion King's intended audiences was for children, my concern comes from the stereotypes The Lion King portrays. As an advancing civilization, we should move on from the generalization that women make sandwiches, while the men of the family bring home the bacon. Yet, I can't also help admiring the genius behind how well they disguise these stereotypes. With enough consideration, though, the film becomes, as quoted from Roth, a reality whose ugliness is not hard to discern below the slick first surface of bland music and cute fuzzy animals. It's the sun.